Exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to Asian Oprah on your AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. I'm your hashtag positively opinionated host. And this morning, you can see I am not alone in studio. It is Thursday. It is time for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Sam Works.
And I am broadcasting here from the Great White North 8 in, let's see, where am I? Vaughan, Ontario, Canada, which is near Canada's Wonderland, which is Canada's version of Disney, where I used to sing and dance on stage there, believe it or not, with clothes on. I was in the More Solid Gold show, and I meant to I'll have to find it while you're talking and pop it up here because it's a funny picture. One of my exes actually found the negatives of me on stage singing Sheena Easton's "Well, I'm almost over you." That's what I say. Anyways, I am so glad that you're here. Those of you who are streaming live, I see the eyeballs. Go to YouTube, where that houses all shows. Today, Sam, is show number 899. I am 567 consecutive weeks on the air. Tomorrow, show 900. Make sure you're here for that show. My newest co-star, Alon Carter, daughter of Temptations founder Otis Williams, is my co-host tomorrow. So we'll do something special for that. But 899 is nothing to sneeze at. And I'm so glad that we're here to amuse you. I think this show is a good entertainment show where I get to be a little bit naughty for your Thursday drive time in the morning. And as usual, we start with breakfast. Sam and I invite you to share your gratitudes with us. We take a bite of my gratitude sandwich, 8 specific things on top, and 8 things that you appreciate about yourself on the bottom. Sam, take it away. What would you like to be grateful for this morning?
Well, I am thankful for another day, for another opportunity, just to make progress in my life. So very grateful for that.
Awesome. And I am grateful that I have only gained 1.8 pounds since being in, and I did the balance. First trip out when I was broadcasting here, I ate a butter tart every day and like 6 pounds. The second time I came out, last time in December, January, I had 0. And this time I bought like just one thing, 6, and I've been pacing myself. So I still have 2 left. Not bad for buying them on the first day, and I've been here 10 days or 9 days.
You said a butter tart?
Yeah, that's a Canadian thing. Y'all don't have it. The closest thing you have is a pecan pie. So if you took the pecans off of the top of the pie, that's a butter tart. So it's just that gooey brown sugar, yummy stuff, and then the melt in your mouth, buttery shortbread crusty thing on the bottom. I better stop talking about her. I'm going to go get one after this. But yeah, so I'm grateful that I'm practicing balance and I'm seeing the results on the scale. All right,
Okay.
your turn.
Yeah, I am. Well,
I'm
I was
grateful
gonna
you're
say
awake too.
yeah. I was gonna say I'm grateful for my cooking skills. Yesterday, I made some like pork chops, which I'm not a big fan of. But I made some pork chops yesterday that was pretty good. Not gonna lie. So
Really? Did you have
yeah,
them with applesauce?
no, you're supposed to have it with applesauce.
That's another Canadian thing. Must be. Yeah, pork chops and applesauce. You never heard that before?
I had pork chop with balsamic. Now that's good.
Balsamic? Did you
Yeah, it
cook it
doesn't.
with balsamic?
Yeah, it was on the dinner menu a couple weeks ago at one of my restaurants, and I was like, I don't know about that, and I tried it. I get that every time now. It's a game changer. So
Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm grateful that I got to spend a couple of days with my great nieces. And I don't know if you saw my video of tubing. I'll post another one of me being completely free to enjoy the joyride of my life.
mm, okay, is it still snowing out there?
No, it's only snowed twice, which is perfect. Enough snow to play in it, and not enough snow to get stuck um, in the snow driving.
No, nice.
Yeah.
You know, I need to stop yawning. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm, you know, I am grateful to do the gratitudes in the morning because I feel like I slack on that. But I do feel like the gratitude really helps because it's a self reflection. So
Absolutely. I'm grateful that there's really good Chinese food in Toronto.
is there?
Mm-hmm. There is the one dish that I had that you can't get. I've not seen it in LA at all. Is turnip cakes that you slice in cubes, and they do something to it, and it's so good. And we don't have that at all in LA. There's not one restaurant that I have been to that has that. Okay,
Interesting. Okay.
last one.
Uh, I am grateful for having a real comfy bed. Get some real good sleep.
I'm gonna have to text your mom from now on to wake you up before I call you to say, "Where are you?" Now that I have her number. I'm grateful that I can broadcast from anywhere, and that allows me still the freedom to travel and do what I need to do.
Yeah, so there's no excuses why you can't do your show now.
Oh, oh, you're one to talk.
Huh?
There's no excuse for you not to get up in time for the show. All right. Well, at least you don't have to change this week. All right. Appreciation. I appreciate that I am forgiving most of the time.
So yeah, pretty forgiving. Uh,
You know I love you.
I appreciate that, I try to have a healthy lifestyle.
I appreciate that I am all about balance.
Mm. Um, I appreciate that, I can forgive but not forget.
I appreciate that I have learned how to soothe myself. Um, I had a a revisit. They say Eckhart Tolle says, "What if you think you're enlightened? Spend a week with your family." And y'all know I'm here because I'm spending time with my 88-year-old mom, Chinese mom who has Parkinson's and is in palliative stage of care. And so she was blaming me for something that, is her perception of something that I've done wrong, and it's very similar to what I heard as a child. And I was able to just, not argue, not get defensive, take a deep breath, and also only sit for it for like 20 minutes. And then when the helper came in to take care of her, her physical needs, I said goodnight, and I didn't sit and allow more of that, to me, where as a child I could not help. I couldn't help but have to listen to things. And I know my mom does the best that she can, absolutely. And I have forgiven her, and I continue to forgive her. And I do want to forget, because if I don't forget, I keep bringing all that up. And so I was able to do positive things for myself yesterday. Like I had bought a music book. So I sat at the piano at my brother's place. They're not here, so I could play, at midnight. And then I also had one butter tart and one Humpty Dumpty cheesies, and that was my dinner. And I was able to, not go back into that place of blame and shame, which is very common for those of us who've had childhood trauma, the 7 out of 10 of us. So I was very proud of myself last night. So I appreciate that.
There you go. I appreciate that I don't really take things personally, even when I probably should.
Last one. I appreciate that I can play the piano. One of the beautiful things that my mom did do was force me to practice. And because of that, if you learn something when you're young, that neural connection doesn't go away. So even though it's been probably a year since I played the piano, and certainly 5 years since I played from a score, I was able to pick it up. And for that, I'm so grateful to my mom for.
Okay, my last one. I appreciate that I try to learn something new every day, whether it's in the professional life or self-development or any case, anything. As long as I learn one thing a day, I'm very grateful for that.
Beautiful. And that is, folks, Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And we are just modeling for you something that I'd love for you to do for 30 consecutive days. I promise you, if you start with gratitude in the morning and appreciation at night, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. And that is, that's the power of our mind. That's the power of how we can see our days. And so let's go to the topic of the day. Comment. Thank you for the fingers. We got it. One finger here for sure. That's when someone gives us a thumbs up. I don't know about the appropriateness of this, but and I don't know who they're talking to. But I think maybe they think that I'm your girlfriend. So there you go. That your friend is not the only one. We appreciate whatever comment it is, sort of. And if you're driving right now on the way to work, within the sound of my voice on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, don't go to the live stream on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my YouTube channel. But when you land, please do. And topic for the day is Sam. Actually, I picked it. But do you remember what I wrote?
Well, not word for word, but I know like the basic of
Yeah.
it, the whole, and that's basically when you're in love with someone, but the family just does not like you. What do? Right?
Yep. I said, so when you meet someone, you fall in love, you see a future with them, and then you find out that your family hates them. Now what? So, has this ever happened to you?
No.
No. That's because your mom probably would love anybody. Well, maybe not Jeffrey Dahmer, but your mom is super
Well,
excited.
okay.
Oh,
That's because I thought you're asking me like, was there a family that didn't like me? That's what I thought.
oh, oh, we're going there, are we, Mister
Well,
Mister
you,
Humble
you,
Pie?
well, you just gotta start with my life. I did have I did
Okay.
have one of my girlfriend's dad. Um, when I first met him, he was very like, cautious and whatever, and like pretty to himself. And then the next time I went over, he was all like, being cool and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, no, I asked around. You're a good kid, like that, because he was in like the police force, whatever. So he did a whole background check on me, and then called the school to see if I'm a good kid, and like all this stuff. Like he did
Wow.
a full on background checks, and once he found out I was actually a good kid, he was like, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" Da 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 da. It was pretty
That's
funny.
so cool. That's so cool. Um, I hats off to you. I honestly didn't even think about that side of it because I went straight to, have I ever dated someone that my parents objected to, right? Instead of the other way, which is way bigger, and I had totally forgotten. So there's some not great memories on this one.
Really?
So yeah, because I look different, because I'm not mainstream. I grew up in Kitchener. I was born at Kitchener Waterloo, Ontario Hospital in our very small town of Waterloo. That's where, well, the first house was in Kitchener, and then we moved to Waterloo when I was 8. So there was one black family, one Chinese family, one Japanese family, and everyone else was German. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. So how many people in a town? It wasn't the size of Los Angeles. It was probably the size of Alhambra, is what I'm thinking. So it was reversed. So Alhambra, where we're from, is largely Asian now. So it was flipped. But I was actively discriminated against as a child. I got, cornered in stairwells. Chinese, Japanese, look at these. Dirty knees, look at these. And I hated diversity. And so when I started dating, I remember the first one that was, let's see, actually, it might have been, no, there was one boy that I really liked, and his family disapproved. And that was weird. You just froze with your eyeballs. I'll have to go look at the stream. And the family said, you can't date her because she's not white. And so that was the end of that. So that was one. And I was probably in college. And then you go, and then I'll do another one.
It's pretty rough. In college,
Mhm.
like maybe if that was like middle school, high school, okay, I can see parents, whatever. But college, come on, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Yep.
So, as you know, when I was dating the 33-year-old, I
And you
I
were
had
how old? And you were how old?
23.
Okay, so 10 years older.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I had her come over and meet the family for the first time on, I want to say, Mother's Day. Yeah, maybe Mother's Day. It was either
Did you
Mother's
warn them?
Day.
Did you
Huh?
warn them?
I don't remember. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
And-
Okay, so here's the thing. Actually, so like she never met my mom, but she met my uncle, my aunt, and then yeah, that's it. But everyone else she hasn't met yet. Okay, so it was either Mother's Day or Easter Sunday, one of those two holidays, and it was pretty awkward. Not gonna lie.
Why?
I don't know, but when like she bought my mom flowers, which was really nice, and she brought her son as well, who was 13, and he's so cool. He's this Vietnamese slash Mexican kid, just sweetheart. You know what I mean? And so we walk inside the house, and my whole family's right there in the living room. I'm like, "Hey guys, this is Buffy." Da da da. Not a single hello.
Oh,
So then I had to like put my foot down. I said, "Hey, like this is Buffy, everyone." You know what I mean? And like literally just hi, just, just totally like neglect. I'm like, I've never experienced this before with my family ever, right? And then it got to the point where like, my mom made food, and then her and I we just decided to sit outside like in the backyard. And then as the night went on, it got better. You know what I mean? Like then we started playing cards together, and my family started actually talking to her. But she told me, she was like, if it wasn't like I almost left and I was never gonna come back because
wow.
how she's never been in that awkward position before. I'd never been in that awkward position before. Like I felt so bad for her. And I was
Hmm.
like, and I was so disappointed in my family. I was like, my family is the most loving, caring, respected, like non-judgmental people I've ever met in my life. And then as soon as she walks in, no one even decides to say hello or hello, you know?
Yeah, that's why I said what I said about your mom. And it's like totally opposite. But in their defense, how long had you been dating?
I don't know, like 5 months.
Okay. And did you say just to just to let you guys know she's older than me and she has a son and they're
Yeah,
coming
no,
over.
they knew the rundown. They knew
Oh,
the
they did.
rundown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
nobody's perfect, right? Right. And I know how protective your mom is.
Yeah.
So, based on last week. So, I know that I'm sure the cougar was not exactly what she wanted for you is my guess. Someone older, more mature, taking advantage of you, all the perception, the BS, the belief systems that come with the word cougar or an older woman, right?
Yeah.
Now, so after that it changed? Did they ever apologize?
Well, after I went off on them again.
Okay. Now, um, did it make you want to go out with her more to say F you to your family? Because that's sort of what do you do when your family doesn't approve? How much of an influence does that have in your ability to maintain that relationship? Because nobody wants to know that your in-laws or your, future in-laws don't like you.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I didn't have I didn't take it personally, like I said earlier on the show. So it's like
Hey,
her view changed.
all right.
You
I
know,
don't know if Polly is getting the same cut up on your feed, but I just want to ask if you have any other windows on your phone open or anything that might be influencing, because if you don't, then it is on my end. But I've not had this since I've been in Canada, so.
Oh.
But whatever it is, we will live with it. Hopefully Polly's not experiencing it on the other side. And I had to hang up because there was feedback on the line. But Polly, if you could put in the chat if it's affecting you on your end, then we'll have to refresh. But anyways, okay, so you don't remember if it had an influence. If you're listening and you have a story like this or something happened to you and you have some comments or questions or advice for anyone who has this situation, go ahead and put that in the chat. If you're wondering what's going on today in studio, this is Thursday, so it's time for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Sam Works.
And we're on KCAA AM 1050 FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. And before I forget, I did want to put this in the gratitudes and I forgot. Those of you who missed last Thursday's show, I would say it was the most important show that we've had for this series. And I just wanted to commend my co-host Sam Works for being very honest and forthright and changing his mind or his BS belief system about what had happened to him. And those of you who missed it, the topic, which I thought was going to be like something funny around, have you done anything stupid that you regret in your past, in your relationship or love life or something like that. I was not, could not have guessed that that show would move Sam, hopefully, and the fact that you texted me afterwards to ask for the addresses, the link for reporting cyber bullying, cyber extortion, cyber blackmailing. I was so proud of you, Sam. I was so happy that you asked for that. Now, hopefully, you went forward and you can update us for this, because I want anybody who's listening and who has been a target or a victim of someone reaching out to ask you to do something stupid, which you did because you were underage and you didn't know better, not to blame or shame yourself, which I think you were doing. And I'm sure there's still a little of that. That's normal. But the bulk of it, I wanted you to get mad and not take that on, that it was not your fault, 88%. It was the fault of the stupid idiot that reached out to ask you to make an embarrassing video and then use that to blackmail you. So those addresses that I gave you, did you fill it out?
Yeah, so I did that. It took about 48 hours, and then the investigator called me back. And then
good.
He said, it's going to be $1,500 and I'll take care of it.
Okay. So there is a business angle on that one. Yeah. So did you try the other one?
No, I didn't try the other one.
Okay. So I have a suggestion, is go to the government website, because I know that they have something that doesn't cost money. Now, they will probably say that their hands are tied more, but at least, even, and this is asking you to take another step forward, and you may not be ready for this, but I absolutely would like you to post something publicly with the picture of the person and go on the aggressive attack, because the BS belief system that you have, that this time, now that you've gave her money or him, or you're going under and you're going to be able not to be found again, that's not true. It's just going to be a matter of time when they come at you again, especially since you did pay them something. So in their mind, you are now susceptible, just like when you get those stupid RoboCop calls. And if you spend any time talking to them, you start getting like 100,000. There's some network out there that says, this guy's a sucker, she's a sucker, and let's go after her. So I want you to stop, one, feeling blame and shame at yourself 88% of the time. You were 16, you were a minor, and that idiot is an evil, cruel, horrible person, and they need to be stopped. So two, owning your power and actually going on the attack instead of defending. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't know if you're ready to do that, but I wanted just to put that down on the table, moose on the table, and I will support you in whatever way. And if I happen to, win the lottery or some big money, I'll give you that $1,500 because I think this is so important. Just like your mom, like, don't attack my kid. You're not my kid. Don't attack my, boyfriend in another life. So anyways, I hope the whole experience has taken you from one side of the street to the other.
Well, it's definitely an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know, talking to Paulie, he was like surprised. He didn't know the part about you paying, but that's the level of psychological manipulation and gaslighting that evil people do. They somehow turn something that they do that is horrible and make it, you think that it's their fault. And it's something that happens, and it's too bad that it happens, but honestly, it chisels you into being a better person in the sense that you can now help other people who are going into that situation. That's why, bad things happen to good people. That's my answer. Why does it happen? Because it helps us become people who can help people in that situation. And that's why I speak out loud about the trauma that I went through as a child. And that was the criticism. How could you, put that out there for everybody to read about in my book? And, she can't understand that, but I've helped so many people who really have been gaslighted to think that when you're a child and you get hurt, that somehow you brought that on yourself, which is bullshit talking, but because you're a child and you don't know any better, you think it's your fault. So I don't regret any of what I went through as a child. And I know that my mom was also abused by her mom, and it was horrible. And, she did the best. She carried that on. I'm so, so grateful that I did not lay a hand on my children, because I broke that pattern. But I could be quiet about it. But if I were quiet about it, there's millions right now of people who are healing because of the message that I've put on media. So there you go. All right, back to the topic. We went on a side thing, but I thought it was so important to follow up on that for what happened last week. So, all right, non-approval. How important is family approval?
Well, for my ex, it was pretty important. She thought that it was almost the end of the world because my family didn't approve of her, which they did. It just took time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone just didn't see me lasting too long with her, and in honesty, it's like we didn't last that long after that happened, and maybe that was like a subconscious thing, but we only lasted like maybe like 2 more months after.
Did she break it off or did you?
I broke it off.
Because
It was a whole thing. Dr. Marissa, I can't even tell you like this is gonna sound so fake, okay?
all right, we've been warned.
So I had these thoughts in my head the whole time when I was dating her, okay? And I'm not gonna tell you what thoughts, it was just like the same thoughts, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And it was kind of like eating me alive,
Uh,
right?
uh-huh.
And I kid you not, just like one day out of the blue, I did not even want to like say it or do it. Like my body just took control and I didn't pop off, I didn't explode. It was just like I don't know what it was. The universe was just like, look, you don't really belong with her. So if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for you. And we woke up one morning in bed, and then it just happened. And then like I was so in shock. It was kind of like, when you're walking down the street trying to get somewhere, and then you see someone super good looking and attractive, and it's like you want to turn around, but you can't. And you guys are just getting closer and closer. You know what I mean? Like it was just so weird. But like I didn't want to break it off, but it just happened.
Mm,
Like just one morning, boom. And I just like my eyes widened. I was like what just happened?
mhm.
Because it was not part of the plan.
Right, right. So your subconscious or whatever you were thinking about that BS belief system just took over and nothing
It
could come in sideways.
it just
Now,
took, I couldn't hold
yeah,
back.
have you ever had that happen before?
No.
Okay, and since?
No.
No? Oh, that happened to me a lot. Like I would be really attracted to someone, I'd be really in lust with them, I would think that I was in love, and then like something would start, like a little something that would like irritate me or just like start to gross me out a little bit, whether it was his tongue when we were French kissing. And I remember this one guy, I got this vision of a liver, like, and his tongue was like liver. So every time he kissed me after that, I was like grossed out. And
Oh
then it got
no.
bigger and bigger and bigger. Not that kind of bigger, but the tongue liver got bigger and bigger. And until I was just like, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me, but I can't do this anymore. But it happened like successively. So it was not them, it really was me. And I couldn't figure out what it was. Now, it didn't happen with my husband. There were other things, but it wasn't that. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, it has not happened, but that was my dating life before I was married. I'd meet someone super, lust attraction, and then, boom, something would start to grow and take over, and where I just couldn't take it anymore.
Now was it the same like not situation, but was it the same thing happened over and over again, like the whole liver tongue thing, or
It would be something. It wouldn't be the liver tongue. That was his. He was a lawyer. Um, but it would be like stupid stuff, like the way they ate their food, or the way they were slobby, or there was something that it would just start. And then it would just, like, once it was turned on, there was no turning it off. And it would just, and this is the power of, I think, in hindsight now, is Pygmalion effect. And I think we've talked about this before. Pygmalion effect is when you have a BS belief system that is so strong that you can't allow any other data into your mind and experience unless it supports your BS belief system. So if I think you're a slob, I can't even see the parts of your apartment that are neat. All I see are all the ways in which you're a slob, right? So if I think you're not romantic or whatever it is, I can literally turn a little something into this giant thing, right? So that's that adage. It's, you don't see what you believe. Oh, sorry, you don't I'll believe it when I see it. It's actually, I'll see it when I believe it. That's what Pygmalion effect is. So,
Do you still have that problem?
no, I haven't I haven't dated in 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and an hour, but who's counting? So I wouldn't know. I haven't had that a chance to experience it. But I will say, because we're, last quarter of the hour again. If you're just tuned in, you're listening to Dr. Marissa and co-host
Sandwich.
Stop, you're gonna make me on. And we are doing Straight Talk, a regular Thursday series, and we're talking about family approval and if that makes a difference. And we're sort of segueing into what did that turn you off of the relationship, or what else sort of makes you break up. So I did have a guy that I really, really liked. It was after the divorce. I met him. He pursued me like crazy. Poetry, everything. He was very well off. He was from one of the blue blood families, and very, very, very wealthy, very, very powerful, very, very attractive because of that. He was older. And it did happen. It did happen because one day the lights were on. And he had an older body. That's, and
an older body.
He had an older body, and a dad bod. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but it was not my, my ideal 12-pack, that body of what I think is attractive. But because he was so powerful and successful, that was more important. So that was what I was so turned on by. So the body didn't matter so much. But once I got that visual, it was in the way. But that's not what broke us up. What broke us up was he was telling me this entire year that I wouldn't have to move to a Midwest state that he was from, that, blue blood, that kind of thing. And that, he would, we would have a residence in California on the water, that, his kids were growing, so she didn't have to worry about that. And then it turned into my mom's aging and I can't leave her. You're going to have to move. And I'm like, you promised I wouldn't have to move. And it turned out that the real reason was she found out that I was not white. So that was the other very, still to this day, this was, let's see, 10, 15 years ago. So you were surprised that it happened in college? Well, it happened in high school, it happened in college, and it happened a decade ago. So discrimination and racism is alive and well, folks, as we saw from George Floyd and Asian hate. So welcome to my world, Sam.
I am amazed.
See, you always learn something on these shows.
Doesn't have that same problem?
Yeah. Well, I think I told you I was called a gook probably 5 years ago by a white woman in a white truck going by when my car was broken down. It was the weirdest thing. I was on my way to Anaheim Convention Center to sing on stage with the Agape International Choir, and I had crashed into the middle divider because the car was, moving over. And, when you make that left turn, and they were coming into my lane, so I had to, move off or crash in there. So I hit the middle divider, and this white truck came and slowed down, rolling down the window. I thought she was going to say, can I help you? Are you okay? And she said, you stupid gook. And that was, yeah, that was quite the experience. And it looks like the internet finally gave up on my co-host Sam. So it wasn't mine, it was Sam's. And he will be back. But we're talking about things that break people up in their relationships. And we started with the topic of family approval, and we've moved into all the different reasons, especially in my life, those unforgettable but forgivable times when race played a role in me being broken up. And so that was mine. Sam's was age, his cougar girlfriend. What other things break relationships up, and how important is family approval? So it looks like I've got the floor. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on. My guess is that his phone died. But now that he is not on camera, and just to complete that circle of what happened last week, and let me dial Polly right now and see if they can recover him. But all of you who are wondering what Straight Talk is all about as a series, it is a chance for us to talk openly and freely about relationships and what makes them work and what doesn't. And if you go to the playlist on my YouTube channel, that's called Straight Talk with Sam Works, you will actually be able to see the various topics we've had, from, terms, or we talk about gender differences that are certainly a part of today's relationships in a way that never was before. Let's see, what else can I tempt you with? Also, I have a red carpet playlist on my YouTube channel that you can enjoy. Is all my series. I've got One Step Up to Your Best Life with Beth Linder Moss. She's actually my newest, I think I said the other person was my newest co-host, and she is helping with fitness ideas, nutrition ideas on how for you to have your best life in terms of health and mental health as well when it comes to working out. Also, Tempting Conversations, I mentioned before. Tomorrow's show, we're going to try to get Dr. Obeng into the studio, and he is the doctor that helps all of those kids who are born with things on their face that like big tumors or cleft, or the last one he did something on was a little boy who was born without a penis, and that surgery was certainly monumental. And then I also have red carpet playlists where you can enjoy my my shows with my interviews with The Temptations, Quincy Jones, who, by the way, happy birthday, dear Quincy. Happy birthday to you. Quincy Jones just turned 90 years old, and I get to hopefully see him next Saturday. That he's being honored at the event that Alana and I will be talking about tomorrow. So if you're looking for a great fundraiser, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Alana and I will talk about it. Welcome back, Sam. So that answered the question, was it my internet or yours? Looks like you get the award for that one, and you're still frozen. Can you try to say hello again?
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you're frozen, but that's okay. Keep talking. You know what?
Okay.
Just go off camera, and maybe that at least we can hear you. Don't. Huh? Pardon?
I honestly.
Yeah, you're breaking up. If you go off camera, just turn your camera off and stay on. you should be good with the audio because you're like super breaking up. Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay, now talk.
Can you hear me now?
Yay! Where there's
Sound
a
like the
will,
guy
there's a
from
way.
Verizon.
Yeah, Verizon is going to take the blame for this. All right. So you get the last final word.
I have a question for you, actually.
Okay, cool.
Do you think
No.
when you get married with somebody,
Yeah.
do you think you and your person you married with should go on and live guys together without seeing anyone else, family or years?
Okay, I only heard the first part. Do I think that when I'm with someone,
When you get married with someone, you
Yeah.
guys should separate from society and family for at least 2 years so you can live together, get to the
well, that depends on how do you define a successful relationship? Is it a requirement, or what percent of the success of a relationship involves other people in your family, right? So I would say it depends, as I always do, because it's all about balance. I would say that if you already have a dysfunctional relationship with your family, so no matter who you bring home, your family is wacko about that. So it's not about that person. It's just because your family is wacko. Okay, then I would say then it really doesn't matter. It isn't a part of your relationship. But most of the time, having family, at least 88% like the person you're with, you do things together. You may get together for weddings and funerals and special occasions, Mother Days, Father Day, holidays. It is important. It is not the most important, but it is important, right? Especially if you have children, and then there's the grandma dynamic and all of that. I think it's at least 20% of a relationship. Now, can you live without that part, as you say, on a desert island and still be happy? Absolutely. That's 80%, right? I always say a successful relationship is about 80%. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean, it all depends, right?
Yeah.
Going
Not
back
the
at
depends
it.
you put on as diapers, but the depends on balance. Why is this something you're going through?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But
Okay.
this is something that I was reading this book, and
We have 1 minute.
that's what they were talking about. The mom was like, "Hey, like I'll see you in a couple, like next year or something." And the kid was like, "We talking about?" It's like, "You're getting married, so it's kind of like Adam and Eve. Like you guys are starting your life together as just you two. So you don't want society trying to put anything into your guys' minds or mess anything up. Like you guys should live a life together, until at least for like a year, and then come back to us. Like live your lives together. You guys got married, so." That's my little
Interesting. I don't prescribe. I mean, life is life, right? You can't just go off the grid for that long. That's not realistic.
Okay, so 88% of a year. So let's just say like August till like from January to August. But anyways, all right, we got like 20 seconds left.
It's all about balance. Thanks for joining us today. Peace in, peace out.
World peace through
inner
inner
peace.
peace.
Good. You can, and I can't even see you do it. Thanks for joining us here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. This has been Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. Now go and have the best
Best day ever.